Hey guys, and welcome to another unboxing and overview. Nah, I'm just kidding. I've unboxed and overviewed all these components here, and right now I have the build completely set and tested. So I'm gonna split this video in two parts. This part here I will be talking about the pros and cons of all the components here, and we will be making some noise tests to the CPU cooler, to the graphics card, and the stock fans of the Silencio 650 Pure, and its capability of reducing the noise. And on the second part of the video, we will be talking about temperatures, the power consumption, After Effects rendering times. I'm watching my cable over there, so I don't forget anything. After Effects ray tracing with the graphics card and without the graphics card. I will do that comparison. We will also see Adobe Premiere rendering times and some synthetic benchmarks, Cinebench, Geekbench, and Unigine Valley, which is more dedicated for gamers. But I wanted to see how much power I could draw out of this graphics card here. So that being said, if you are interested in watching an overview of all these components closer up, you have on the description of the video the links for each one of them. If you want to stick with this video and watch the noise tests and me talking a little bit about all of the components and the experience that I have with it at the time being, stick with it. If you want to go for the benchmarks, just go for the next video, which I will leave the link as well below the description. And I hope I can help you with it. So before we begin, usually I use my lavalier microphone. I think it's that how it calls, the microphone that I put on my shirt. But this one gets a lot of noises that are not desirable. So I placed my Yeti microphone here. I usually have on that side of my desk. It's where I work, where I do my voiceovers. And to be honest, this, when it comes to the noise test, it will be not very fair, because the microphone at this moment is in omnidirectional phases, which will capture all the sounds, and you will not be with your head on the case like that, and you will not be with the case open, even though the cases and the components are so silent that if the microphone captures, you will listen for sure. Even captures sounds that sometimes I don't hear. For example, if I touch a cable here and just bounce it on the microphone stand, you can definitely hear me touching here. So just to point that out. Another thing is, if one of my neighbors decide walking on the stairs or something like that, you will also hear, and I apologize in advance for that. So that being said, let's go and start over here. The Samsung Evo 840 Evo, which I was using in my first generation CPU, the i7-960. I will sure to place right now, so I don't forget, a test speed just so you can see. Really good SSD, affordable and great. So I'm gonna try to keep my mouth as shut as possible. Then we have 32 gigabytes of RAM, the Kingston HyperX Beast, 160 megahertz on CL9, and I did some benchmarks on 32 gigabytes and on 16 gigabytes. So we will see if it's an overkill or not, depending on the usage that you give on your editing PC. So taking that aside as well, let's go for our CPU. And the CPU is the 4770K. I was able to overclock it with the Hyper Evo, Cooler Master Hyper Evo 212 up to 4.5 stable, and tested on Prime 95. But I will have to talk about that in more a second, about the noise speed and so on. And the noise speed, sorry, the speed clock and the noise that the cooler can take. But very happy with it. If I could go 4.5 with this cooler, with water cooler, I could probably go about 4.7, 4.8. I don't know. I'm guessing here. I didn't test with any other cooler, so but pretty happy with it. One thing that I would like to mention before I forget it: before I installed the graphic cards, the turbo boost only worked up to 3.6. Even with Prime 95, it wouldn't go further than that. Once I start using the graphics card, it went up to the 3.9 on stock, and then to the 4.5 once I overclock it. So that was curious to see that without the graphic card working with the iGPU, the CPU only goes to 3.6. I didn't research about that, but I would like to share with you. Probably one of you can say why. Maybe because of heat, maybe because, well, I don't know. I leave that on the air, and let's move on. Hyper Evo. So as I said, overclocked my CPU up to 4.5 stable. Actually, it was 4.6 on 2 cores and 4.5 on 2 cores, and I decided to put all of them on 4.5. Pretty silent, inaudible. If you use the stock cooler, sorry, not the stock cooler. If you use the CPU as stock 3.5 to 3.9, you will not hear it. At 4.5, you will hear it, and I will show you that in just a minute when we do the noise tests. What noise can you expect from this guy here, if it's a good option for you, or if you want to go for something like water cooling or similar. So in my case, I'm pretty happy with it, and I will explain in a bit when we do the noise tests. Then we go for the power supply. I recently overviewed one for my kid, and I've got some nice feedback from a subscriber, John. If you are hearing, thanks for your comments. So this PSU here is just great. I cannot hear the fan, even with Unigine withdrawing 550 watts out of the plug or out of the tower. If the fan spins, I cannot hear it at all. On my regular usage, which I will be showing in the next video, rendering After Effects, rendering Premiere, Adobe Premiere, I cannot get it to spin. Rendering, I cannot get it to spin, and I'm being as much honest as I can. If I could get it to spin, I would tell you that. And even with the 550 watts with Unigine Valley, I cannot hear it, even with the case open like this. So great choice if you are looking for a silent and powerful power supply. Sorry, I just put it on the floor. There you go. This was my last component to arrive, the EVGA GTX 760, and I'm pretty happy with it. I can work in After Effects CS6 on ray tracing, and it improves the times on Adobe Premiere, especially when you use effects, color correction and blur and so on. But one thing that I would like to mention here is, if you don't game, like I don't game, probably in the holidays I can install a game or something like that, but it's not, if I game I don't have time to work, so I have to decide. No games for me. So if it's your case, if you don't game, if you don't use After Effects ray tracing in CS6 and After Effects CC, and if you don't mind a little bit of more time on rendering times in Adobe Premiere, you can save 250 euros. If you are in the US, I don't know how many dollars, but somewhere around that. On the other hand, if you do these things that I just said, it is a bit overkill. Yeah, I have to be honest. But I don't regret the purchase, and I'm pretty happy with it. Silent, and we will make the test as well. Silent until a certain point. After that point it gets loud. But for the tests that I made for my work, I didn't hear a beep from it. So great choice if you are looking for a silent graphics card and a powerful graphics card, especially for the type of work that I do. Even for gaming, well, it's great, great benchmarks that I had. It might get a bit loud from a certain point, but that's it. Hey, we will hear it in a moment. And then lastly, which was by coincidence the first one that I got, the motherboard, the Z87 Expert. Great choice as well. Price range and all the how can I say, all the features that it has. I think it's a great purchase. If you are looking for a Z87 motherboard, consider this one. It has plenty of features, and it has Thunderbolt. I haven't tested yet. I don't have a disk Thunderbolt yet, but I will be having in the future for fast, especially heavy video files with several gigabytes. It will be very good to fast transfer files from one side to another. So all in all, a great motherboard. If you are planning on a PC for gaming and video editing, you probably want to choose something that has power for, this one has for 3 graphics card, but as I mentioned before on the overview of this, the scaling is not the best out there, so depends on what you are building. I'm gonna put this one aside as well. Finally, we have the case, which is a great case, one of the best that I had. I was working with the Cooler Master Cosmos 1000, great case as well, much bigger than this one, and it had the foam protection for the sound dampening, but it wasn't as silent as this one. This one is by far the silent case, the more silent case that I had, except from my Mac Mini, which is dead silent. But even dead silent when rendering, it makes a noise of the fan spinning. So I don't know. There's no really quiet PC or Mac when there's a lot of operation going on, especially on a CPU. That being said, one more thing that I would like to mention is, and I didn't on the overview, the bottom cage can take one 2.5 inch disc, and on the same slot it can take another 3.5 inch HDD. And then you have one of them with you can put a 3.5 or a 2.5, and the other one just take 3.5, and then on the top 4 times 3.5. I didn't mention this on the unboxing and overview of the case, but I think it's never too late, so here it is. I'm gonna light up here, and I made a few tests before, so I didn't get too much lens flare, and I hope I'm not hurting the image there of your eyes, but so you can see better the system right over here. And right now you are expecting for the silence or the noise tests, and let's go for that. So as you can see, just me walking in the floor, the microphone can capture that, so please bear that in mind. So first of all, we've got here the 4-way optimization by ASUS, and if we check, I've got mine at the moment at 4.2. I reduced, and I will explain this on the video that I'm making next, I don't know if today or tomorrow, which I will be showing all the benchmarks and why did I choose this 4.2. But briefly, it was to get noise and performance balance. So I think I found 4.2 a balance and noise comparison, and well, we'll see on the next video more. But as you can see here, 4.2 overclocked. So what we can check first is the CPU cooler. If I go to Fan Expert 2 and CPU fan, if I push it to the max, and after clicking apply I'm going to shut up so you can listen. This is how it will work if you overclock it up to 4.5. So here we go. So you can definitely hear the noise. The fan is at 1500 RPM maximum, and you can definitely hear noise. Now you cannot hear anything, well, at least I can't. I don't know if the microphone is capturing anything, but you will definitely see. I cannot hear anything. I'm gonna shut up for a few seconds so you can hear the whole system work. It's an idle. So I'm gonna shut up. So no noise at all when idle. And bear in mind, we don't have the cover here. When we put the cover, we listen a little bit less than this. One of the things that I can hear is the mechanical hard drives. When they spin, I can definitely hear. Not much, but I can hear it, which is not happening at the moment, so it's okay. 4.2 overclock, and the speed fan that I get is around this, 60%. So what is this? It's just a whisper when I'm rendering. So I only got, my CPU only goes to 4.2 when rendering. And when rendering this sound, it's great. So the balance that I was talking about, performance and noise level, I achieved at 4.2. Okay, I'm gonna put the CPU once more at maximum so we can hear, and we move on. Now I'm going to put it back on standard. So very, very quiet. Okay, let's move on to fan. This is the back fan. You can definitely hear the airflow, but once again, it will only go to this speed if the system is hot. So if you are rendering for 2, 3, 4 hours, you will hear that. If you are rendering for 21 hours, it doesn't even spin. I'm gonna try, sorry. Shut up. Now I'm going to put it back. And 100% once again. So the same situation, let me put back on. The same situation happens with all the fans that I mentioned on the CPU. 4.2, the balance that I manage is around 60% speed. cannot hear it. At 60% speed you cannot hear it, which is at 4.2 on the i7-47-7K. I think I said one more 70 than I should, but you get the point. You cannot hear it. So 60%, let's put it back again. And let's hear it again on 60%. That was the neighbor's door. Okay, so now let's go to the fans on the front. I'm gonna push the first one to the maximum. You can definitely hear a whisper, but to be honest, I have to say that this is quiet. And once again, at 4.2 you will not get this speed. At 4.5 you will, after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 in prime 95. Well, in prime 95 not even need that, maybe half an hour and you will have all this noise. So let's put them at 60%. A whisper. It's like a whisper, it's to be honest, and you are listening. So let's put these back to normal, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the whole system in full speed, and the whole system I mean by two stock fans, one stock fan at the back, and the CPU cooler, all in maximum. So this is what you will hear on maximum. For example, 4.5 overclock, 2 hours rendering. The CPU will start much earlier, but the front and the intake fans and the exhaust fan around 1 hour, 130 will start with this noise at 4.5. At 4.2, once again my neighbor's door, sorry about that. So let's repeat the test. Now completely idle and full speed. Once again, this is 4 fans working. Okay, now let's go to the fun part, graphics card. So graphics card is very silent, as I said, and as you heard, it's a whisper, even lower than a whisper. The lowest the fan can spin is 43%. It cannot go lower on EVGA precision software, and but the 43% is it's not a problem. The highest that I could go with it was with Unigine Valley, and it went to 70% of speed. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna disable the auto, and I'm gonna put 50. Now you can hear something. 60. can definitely hear it. $70. And this was the loudest that I could put the graphics card running a benchmark, a stressed benchmark, Unigine Valley. With the cover of the case on, it's much quieter, but you can hear it. Now let's go to 80. $90. And 100. So now you can hear it. It looks like an aeroplane. Plenty of noise. So I don't know in which application. Let me put it back. I don't know which application or which game can make the graphics card work this hard. I couldn't make it. Rendering After Effects, working with ray tracing, rendering in Adobe Premiere with all the effects that I will show you in the next video. I couldn't get it. The only thing that could get it to 70% was Unigine Valley, the benchmark. Let's put it again on 70% from 43 to 70 directly. Okay, so 70. Now back to 43. So if you are gaming with 70%, I'm sure you will not listen, because whether you are listening the sound from your speakers or with your headphones, sorry, you will not listen to it. If you are working, you will notice. But I couldn't get it to 70%. Now let's go from 43 to 100%. Because the shock is higher. It's like putting a fish on inside the pan and making the water slowly warm. He will die boiled and he doesn't notice. The same with the humans. At least that's what they say. I guess the same applies to this. If we go from 50, 60, 70, our perception is different. So now we're going from 43% to 100%. And let's go. Now let's put it back to okay guys, so this is it for speed tests and the overall builds of my video editing PC. At least for 2014 it will be this one. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the noise levels, the power consumption, all the components. As I said, I'm gonna do the next video as soon as possible with all the benchmarks that I mentioned before. I will not mention it again. And if you have any questions, please drop me a line. I will do as best as I can to answer. If it wasn't enough with this not small video, because my camera stopped and I had to start it, so maybe more than half an hour. But I did the best I could to try and share as real what's happening with this system, so that you can try and build a silent system for you, and from this experience that I'm sharing, deciding which components you want to go this way or that way, and build your own system. And this is the fun part of it, of sharing these videos. You get a lot of feedback, and it's great. So guys, thanks for watching. My name is Roberto Jorge, and stay tuned for the next video with all the benchmarks. And bye bye.